TBR pick. I'm so excited for this month's pick because I'm like semi caught up on my reading. Now, I'm one book behind right now. I have not read The Counselors, which was our pick for last month, but I will hopefully very soon be diving into this. I also really need to catch up on my wrapped TBR books because I have yet to read these two, and this one was October's pick. So if you want to see any of those, go ahead and look at the description because I'm sure I should have links to it in there, and I will throw up one of them randomly in this video if you would like to click on it and go to that. But it's a very similar style video to these videos, which is the TBR jar. And without further ado, let's go ahead and just pick our TBR jar pick. I'm so excited for this month's pick. I can't wait to see what we choose. There's lots of new books in here. This is actually my first time picking out of the jar with the new books from the library book sale from our last book sale, which was a couple months ago now. So yay, very excited. Hopefully I got one of the new books, I don't know. Mrs. Everything. I'm stumped. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go look around for it. I have no idea what book this is. I searched all of my shelves in here and in my living room, and then it was last on the shelf that I looked at Mrs. Everything. I had a feeling it was a book by this author, but this actually looks pretty good. Now this author has written quite a few other books that I have read and do own. Probably the most popular one she's written is In Her Shoes, and that one was also made into a movie. So solid read. It was a good read. Good book, good movie too, and good writing. This one is based in the 1950s. It's right as women's lib is becoming a thing. The time of free love, it says, and Woodstock is like a big thing. And there's two sisters, so kind of similar to In Her Shoes because there's two sisters. And they both are kind of different, and they're just both kind of trying to find their way in this new world. This author usually writes some thick books, so this is over 450 pages, so I feel like this is going to take me a little while to read, and hopefully I really like it, because if I don't like it and it's 450 pages, that is not going to be fun. But I'm going to set this one on the shelf, and I have to read The Counselors first. But once I do that, we will go ahead and get started on reading that. So I'm gonna go read that, and then I'm gonna go read this one, and I'll film me reading this one, and that's the next clip that you will see. I have just started reading Mrs. Everything, as you just saw, and so far I'm actually really liking it. When I first started, like the first 20 or so pages, I was like, don't know how I'm feeling about this. But then I forgot that I do love this author, and the writing style is really great. It just flows so nicely. You feel like you're not really even reading a book. You feel like you're just inside the book. And those are my favorite kinds of books. I know I've referred to this in the past, but let me just explain it. So what I mean by that is, like, anything could be going on around you while you're physically reading, and you're just like not even paying attention to it. Like, you don't even know what's happening around you. You're just like inside this book. That's what it feels like. So when I say you're in the book, that's what I mean. But yeah, I'm definitely in the book when I'm reading this, and I'm not even paying attention to anything at all. And I'm so invested in the characters already, and we are only 100 pages in. So I really love our characters. We have two sisters. They're Jewish, and they left their country because the Jewish were just like not having a good life and just not getting opportunities that other people would get, and all kinds of like bad, horrible stuff. So they moved to the United States, and it was mom, dad, and two daughters, and the two daughters like couldn't be more different, which we love a good like two sisters different. Yeah, love that vibe. And I feel like this author in Her Shoes, actually, I love that book too, had gave us that in those characters as well. So already I love where she's going with this. And a tragedy hits this family, and so they're Jewish, and it's a different time. It's in the 1950s, so like people just had different opinions back then, and they were very harsh with Jewish people, and they didn't really treat them how they treated normal people. Um, but so yeah, they were looked down upon, and they were made fun of in some respects, and just people didn't really want to be their friends and that kind of thing. So the daughters didn't really have a lot of friends, but they were like really good kids, and just were going along well in life, but they kind of felt lonely because they didn't really have a lot of friends, and they were so different from each other that it wasn't like they were like best friend sisters either. They just kind of were like, okay, you're my sister, you know. So anyway, tragedy hits this family already in like the first 100 pages, and it is insane. I mean, I wouldn't say it's insane, but it's like, I guess, yeah, it's insane. That's a good word, because it blew my mind. I was like, wait a second, that just happened? That's for real? Oh my goodness. And now this family is just like trying to figure out how to deal and how to get through this. And like they're just in shock, and they have grief and sadness, and it's just wild. So they've already like gone through a lot, and then this happens, and now you're just like, oh my goodness. So, and there's just like this creepy uncle that's in the picture too, that's like, seems like he likes the daughter a little bit, which is his niece, and it's freaking me out. So I really hope nothing bad happens there, or I am going to be upset. But so far, it is completely capturing my attention, and I'm so invested. And I like it way, way, way more than I thought I was going to. And yes, it's a thick book, so I kind of got scared when I picked this because it's such a thick book. It's over 450 pages. And I was like, oh no, it's going to be a thick one. And anytime like I randomly choose a thick book like this, I get nervous because it's like, I didn't just pull this off the shelf. So I have to be invested in a 450 page book and in the characters for that long. And I really hope I'm going to like them. And so far I do. So far I really like the storyline too. So I feel like this is going to be a really good read. I'm already feeling maybe it could be leaning towards 4 stars, but I'm only 100 pages in. So literally anything could happen at this point. But I'm really excited to go get back to reading. So let's go do that, and then I'll give you another update. I have just finished Mrs. Everything, and I really liked this. I was really pleasantly surprised by this whole book. I rated it 4 stars. Let's start with that. So we have 2 sisters, and I kind of want to pick up where I left off on talking to you. I can't really remember what I said in the last clip, so sorry if I repeat myself, but they are just, I love how close they stay over their lifetime, even though they are like in 2 separate spaces completely. They're totally separate human beings, and they're very different from each other, and they really go on like completely different life paths than each other. But each of their paths are extremely interesting, and you can't wait to find out how everything is going to go. And I really enjoyed reading every little piece of this. And I'm glad that the author made the book so long, because we really got to see um, just like from beginning of their lives, which is when they were young children, to literally them having grandchildren. And that was just so good to see all of it. And it just, usually you don't get all of that from a book. Usually you see like little portions of their lives, but this captured their whole entire lifespan and every little thing that they went through in the middle of it. And it was just wonderfully written. It was very well written, very good storyline. Um, it wasn't a feel-good book. It was sad. I didn't cry or anything, but I could see how you could cry for sure. Um, it was happy. It was sad. It was wild. It was just emotional. There was just a lot of really hard, emotional, raw things that characters go through that are real life things that really happen, and I hated to see them happen to these characters because you get very invested in them. I really was invested in both of them. I was gonna say like I kind of favored one over the other, which maybe I favored the younger sister a little bit more just because she was more of the underdog, but like the older sister really sacrifices a lot to take care of the younger sister in many different ways. And the younger sister also like pays that all back to her at some points. So I just loved it. I loved it. It was a great sisterhood story of just like how to handle hardships in life and get through them and find your way in life. It was really cool to even just see like through the decades of what changes in the world and around them and in people's thoughts, and then like their children and their children's children's, what changes in their lives compared to the sisters' lives, and how all the things they went through, what their children are going to have to go through, or their children's children are not going to have to go through because they already have done it, kind of a thing. So I was just so invested in this whole book, and I was glued to this book. Honestly, I usually read 3 to 4 books at a time, like back and forth. And I found myself continuing to run back and pick this up at every chance I got and put other books aside so that I could finish this story, because I just really wanted to know what was going to happen and how things were going to play out for these characters, because I felt personally very invested. And when I picked this out of the TBR jar, I'm going to be 100% honest, I wasn't that excited. But I'm so glad I did, because now this has opened my eyes anew to this author, and I will hopefully be reaching for her books more often. I will be like tallying up all of my ratings and talking about all of the books that I read from the TBR jar, and I'll have a big video for that at some point in the future, and you can look forward to that. And yeah, I know I'm going to be so surprised on like how many books I rated so highly, because like it's really just random that I pick from the TBR jar. Like it's for real random. I don't like pre-choose these or anything. So what I pick is what I get, and that's what I read. And I've been so pleasantly surprised by so many of these books, and they are mostly all over here. And if you have enjoyed this video today, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, because that really helps me out. And also, if you want to connect with me in other ways, I post all the time on Instagram, and I would love to see you over there. The best way to get in touch with me is to DM me on Instagram. Any questions, any comments, anything. You can also comment on this video, of course. And check back here for a weekly video every single Friday, because I do that as well. And there's so much content on my channel, and I would love for you to check out some more content over there. So make sure you head over there after this, and I will see you on a new video soon. Bye.